Well, got kind of an update here on the bee situation for me. And as you'll see behind me here, where my bees used to be, they're gone. So I ended up having to move them all. And I think this is a good sort of lesson for me and anyone else who wants to do suburban beekeeping. I didn't thankfully have any real big problems with neighbors or anyone getting injured or anything, but I did end up with more hives than was really reasonable for the amount of space we have in this neighborhood. And I started having issues with neighbors occasionally getting stung, which I don't like. And also with our neighbor back here, right behind me, they put a pool in, and then the bees started drinking from their pool in such numbers that it was really kind of irksome for them. So that was rough, and it's so close that even if I put a different water source in, they're gonna keep going there. So with all that, on top of the fact that I caught a bunch of swarms last year, and that was fun, but I learned a lot about swarms in this area, and about 80% of them were mean, Africanized. And I caught 10 swarms, and out of the 10, 2 of them were really nice. The other 8 were not fun. So those bees are more aggressive, and they kept flying over to people's properties and getting really defensive and stinging them. So a few weeks ago in January, I packed all the hives up and had to get rid of them. But there's a silver lining to this. So I want to show you now where the bees are instead. So this is the new bee yard. Pretty sweet, huh? We're up here on a hillside out in an undisclosed location in Orange County. And now I have all my hives here instead of in the backyard. And I still get to keep my hives. But I will say, after last year and all the swarms and everything that we caught, if you're in SoCal or you're in an area with Africanized bees, be prepared to requeen swarms, because I wasn't. I just didn't know it was going to be that bad, and I ended up with a bunch of mean swarms. So that being out here, they're not really a threat to anyone, because we're far enough away from homes that they're not going to go attacking people. And you can see right now, I mean, I'm suited up to the nines. I've got the full boots and everything, because some of these hives, when you get into them, they go kind of crazy and start crawling up your pant legs and stuff. But right now they're leaving me alone because there's a flow going and they're pretty chill. But in a dearth, when there's not a lot of food coming in, they get really defensive, and they'll be all over people just getting close to the hives. So where we are here, it's safe. We can experiment a little bit, but a lot of these hives that are mean, we're gonna have to requeen. And you can see now we're up to 13 hives in this location. 2 of them over there belong to Ezra, who's on the camera for us right now. Thank you, by the way, Ezra. And then we had one over here that we accidentally caught a swarm of our own. One of the hives over here swarmed into that hive, so now we have an even baker's dozen up here. So we got 13 hives going this year, and we haven't made splits yet. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting spring. I'm grateful for this, but I'm mourning a little bit the fact that I can't have bees in my backyard anymore. I mean, I could, but it just makes more sense to have them all in one spot, practically speaking, because you got to do the same treatments, the same hive manipulations and everything in 2 separate locations, and so your gear's split, and so it's just easier to have it all in one spot, because I'm coming out here once a week anyway, so it made sense. But yeah, again, to reiterate, if you're going to have bees in your backyard, make sure you have gentle queens, make sure you have gentle genetics, And if I had it to do over again, I would have kept it to 3 or 4 hives at most in my backyard, probably 3. Once it got past that, it was just too much bee traffic for my neighbors, and it was just too much. So since I want to expand, this is what we're doing. Baba booey. Okay, that's it.